Hello, welcome back to another week of music. Last week I received a lot of responses that were very positive. Thank you so much for participating in our first week of music assignment and Raider radio listening. This week, we're going to get into our music curriculum using Prodigies. In this video, I'm going to explain the materials you need and a little bit of the background about how we'll be going about our assignments. Majority of this video, I'll be screen sharing from my iPad. Most of the desktop features are very similar to what you'll be seeing on the iPad. Okay, let's get started. If you have a school iPad, it should already be installed on that iPad. If you were in my class last year for distance learning, you may have already downloaded this as well. If you are new to the school or just haven't worked with this program yet, I'm going to show you the app that you will need to download on your device. It will need to be downloaded on a iPad or iPhone or another mobile device with a compatible app. This is what it looks like in the Apple App Store, called PSP Bell's Kids Instrument App. Once I open it up, I will see that I have different options for bells. This will allow our students to participate in the music lesson while I instruct it. In general, my weekly assignments, if using Prodigies, will include an instructional video and walkthrough of what I would like you to do, followed by an activity that you will submit online. I'll get into a little bit more of that later. As you can see, once I've chosen the bells I'd like to use, you are able to click and use the bells according to the assignments. They're interactive, they're fun, they're colorful, they're great. We have our note names as well, so that when we're learning about our note names and what they sound like, we're able to see them there as well. Okay, let's get into what Prodigies is. Yes, this program is called Preschool Prodigys, but I find this program appropriate for about pre-K through about second grade, depending on our exposure to the music. We'll be starting with this, at least in the beginning, to get used to what we're doing and recall the information we've learned before. Here is a letter provided from the Mr. Rob and Prodigies team. This letter informs you of how we should be working our lessons and how you can help your students at home. Of course, I will be doing generally more of the explanation part of this, so you may not need to worry about it too much. I'll go ahead and go over this letter briefly for you so that you don't have to spend the time reading it on the screen. So this workbook is going to move step by step with videos inside chapter 1. For the most part, one section equals one song. And depending on your child's age level, we generally recommend that you, first of all, start by watching the videos, which we'll be doing together. 1 to 3 times depending on how fast your child engages. If they're not getting it, please feel free to repeat it. Follow up by reading the sheet music for each section. We do this without the video and go as slow as you need. Try to play in time and use a metronome to keep the steady beat when you're ready. You do not need to get a metronome, but if you download a metronome app or find a website online, that is extremely helpful for the students to keep time. Essentially, a metronome is just there to keep a click. It will keep a steady beat for you. After playing through the sheet music, that would be the assignment part, by the way. The sheet music is going to be the lesson that I provide for you. After playing through the sheet music, complete the pencil paper activities that follow. Keep your bells nearby and some crayons to match the colors. Again, please be aware I'll be walking students through the lessons as we go. Continue to practice with video and sheet music until your child is singing and playing the song with confidence and accuracy. Repetition is important, and I'll be looking forward to seeing these assignments posted on your Seesaw. The pacing on the program will depend on how the class is doing overall, but just be aware we're not doing individual instruction. So if a child is falling behind, I can't necessarily wait back, but you will be able to revisit those activities and practice more so that they're able to grasp the concepts. Okay, I'd just like to give a quick overall view for you students and parents who haven't learned yet or don't quite know what we're talking about when it comes to beats and measures, because we'll be seeing these a lot. So up here in the top left, music lives inside this space called a measure. Each measure is filled with different beats. Usually we have 4 beats in one measure, but it can be different. For now, we'll stick to 4 though. Can you see them up there? Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. And that's how we have it here. This is what we have. Quarter notes are 1 beat. This is the foundation of music. This is the foundation of beat and rhythm. A quarter note sounds like this. So a musical sound is called a note. Above, you can see 4 notes. These are our most popular kind of note, and they're called quarter notes. I have a fun song about quarter notes, and I'll show you sometime. Maybe some of you have heard it. Some notes take up 2 beats, as we can see. We call those half notes because they take up a half of a measure. How many half notes does it take to fill 1 measure? Can we see that? It's 2. 2 half notes with 2 beats each take up 1 measure. Half note, half note. Okay, we also have whole notes. They are 4 beats long. We call them whole notes because they take up the whole measure. Whole note. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's done. That's a whole note. Don't worry, I know this is a really fast overview. This is the kind of stuff we're going to focus in on though. So this is a foundation, so you kind of know what we're talking about before we get into an actual assignment. Don't worry, we'll be reinforcing it along the way. This is just for your information. Here are some other important things to remember while we're doing these lessons. Play the rests. These are called rests. They do lie within 1 beat, so they are quarter note rests. But instead of playing them, we hear shh, 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 shh. So when we see a rest sign, as you can see that squiggly there, as we see a rest, you don't play any notes. This is what we call a rest, but it does still take up time. So don't ignore the rest. Instead, try and play them. You can say the word rest or the sound shh, which is my preference. Or you can just make no noise at all for that beat. But we do want to get used to taking up that time while we say shh instead of playing a note. Whichever you choose, it's important that you give that rest the time as a regular beat. Let's look at singing the lyrics. The lyrics are the words of the song. They are written underneath the musical notes. You can see that they are color-coded to match. Before you practice singing the lyrics, make sure you've tried to sing with the colors and the letter names. When you start singing the lyrics, take it slow. It's okay. Play the note on your instrument and then use your ears and your voice to match your singing to the musical notes. Try to use a clear and steady voice. We call a set of lyrics a verse or a chorus, depending on where it is in the song. Some songs have 2 verses. This means you'll play the whole song singing the lyrics for the first verse, and then you'll play it again while the words for a second verse. Before I get into what solfege is and how we use it, I would like to sing this example up here for you. If my note was C, I would sing see ya later. That's how that works. Okay, this is solfege hand signs. Some of you are already familiar with this, but some of you aren't, and I'm sure either way we can still use the practice. Each musical note, C, D, E, etc., has a solfege name as well. The solfege names are do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And then, of course, we have do on top. The solfege syllables are a fun, easy way to talk about music notes. Plus, each syllable comes from a different hand sign. And singing while you sing helps you memorize and recall the sound of musical notes. In this book, we use the simple circles above to represent the hand sign. We are going to be going through some practice here on our video instruction. Here's an example of how we use the Kerwin hand signs with our solfege. If I'm starting here, I have do. We use our fists. Do. Starting there, I know it's a little low for some of you. Maybe you want to say do, but I'm going to start down here because it's easier for me. Do, we have a rock. Re, we're moving upwards a little ramp. Mi, we flatten out our hands, thumbs down, fa, up to so. Floppy hands for la, pointing up for T, and then finally do up here. That's just a little explanation intro into how we'll use the Kerwin hand signs and solfege. So for your assignment, you will be required to be sure you have the PSP Bell app that I showed you at the beginning of the video, and you will be partaking in the Hello Bells activity. For our assignment in Seesaw, we will see these two pages that will be available once we click Add Response. Hello Bells, this is our first assignment. In just a second, I'm going to show you a video to meet all our bells, hear what they sound like, and enjoy a little song about each one. So our job for this assignment is to meet all the bells in the video, and then using appropriate colors, we're going to trace the letters, numbers, and solfege name that belong to each note. Simple enough. We will be able to respond straight from the iPad from Seesaw. Feel free to use the drawing features on the iPad to use the colors and trace each name, number, and solfege name for each bell.
Let us sing and play today. Let's meet all our bells and say hello C, hello D, hello E, hello F, hello G, hello A, hello B, hello C. Let us play, sing and play. Ready? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, sol, do.
If you'd like to go back and do that activity again and practice with the bells playing along, I think that'd be an awesome idea and an awesome way to participate in that song. It's short enough to listen a couple times, sing along, echo along, and just have fun learning about what these bells are. Okay, again, we're going to recap. Number 1 for your assignment is to download the PSP Bells app. Secondly, you're going to watch this video to welcome in the bells and what they are and what they sound like. Thirdly, you're going to click on Add Response and trace the letter, number, and the solfege name for each bell using the tools provided on the Seesaw program. Once you have completed this, click the green check mark and you're all done. I hope you enjoyed this assignment. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Enjoy and good luck.